afternoon, everyone. I'm Regina West. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Leeon Jeffs, the Vice President of Simplicity Laser. With a widespread presence across the United States, Simplicity Laser stands as a significant force in the laser hair removal industry. Under Mr. Jeff's leadership, the company made a strategic decision to transition from nitrogen-based cryotherapy solutions to Zimmer MedizinSystems electric localized cryotherapy devices. This pivotal switch has further elevated their commitment to patient comfort, safety, and effective treatment outcomes. Our conversation today aims to explore Mr. Jeff's wealth of experience while also highlighting the tangible benefits of this technology transition for Simplicity Laser and potentially for your business as well. Let's get started. Hello, Mr. Jeffs. How are you?
Doing great, Regina. Thank you for having me on. I really am looking forward to this.
Of course, we're so honored to pick your brain here about your experience. So let's start off with just maybe an overview. If you could give us an overview of Simplicity Laser, the services you offer, and maybe describe your role in the company.
Yeah, thank you. It's Simplicity Laser is a great company. We started 14 years ago. I am one of the founders, and we are based here in Utah. We have expanded, we've grown very methodically. We are currently in 7 states. We have 22 locations in those 7 states. And currently the only service that we provide is laser hair removal. We are always looking to add services and things like that, but currently it's just laser hair removal, and we have tried to just always improve that and at the same time expand our footprint. So we look forward to a bright future.
And how many years ago did you found the company?
We started the company 14 years ago in 2009. Okay. And we've grown in spurts. We got some going, and then we slowed down, then we got more going and slowed down, but we have 22 locations. 2 are being built out right now, but 20 operating facilities.
It's fantastic. It sounds like I'm a bit familiar with the recent history of your company, and you do seem to be expanding quite rapidly, and another 2 on the way, as you say.
That's right.
So how did you come to partner with Zimmer MedizinSystems or become familiar with Zimmer MedizinSystems cryo devices? Because I know you didn't start with electric cryotherapy devices at Simplicity Laser.
You know, that's a really great question. When we started the company, we didn't have much capital resource. And so the way we started the company is we went and found doctors that had lasers that had turned them essentially into coat racks where they weren't using them. They put them in the corner, and we went and found some doctors and we said, hey, we're gonna run your laser in your office and we'll give you a cut of the revenue. And
interesting.
It was a great way to start because we were able to start a company without getting a real estate lease or as well as an equipment lease. And so we opened up 10 or 12 locations, again, with no lease and no equipment lease. And there were a lot of benefits of doing it that way, but some of the challenges is that we were kind of stuck with the type of laser that the doctor had, and the type of equipment that they had, and maybe the layout of the room or maybe the size of the room.
Right.
And so we had doctors that had, we had 10 or 12 doctors, they all had a different type of laser. So we had to get very familiar with how to operate each laser. We had to get very familiar with the consumables of each laser, and as well as the cooling types. So we had some that were cryogen based. We had some that were cool tip based. We had some that were none at all, and then we also there were some Zimmer Cryo 5s. And we got very familiar with all of those. And so what stemmed from that is it gave us a front row view of the type of equipment that was out there. We were able to really kind of test the equipment on both the laser and on the cooling devices to see what was the best, which one we like the most to operate and which ones our customers like the most. And over time, we came to the realization, not only from a lot of perspectives, I guess, but we felt very comfortable with the Zimmer Cryo 5 at the time. And not only that, but our customers loved it as well. And so as time went on, we got more of the Cryo 5s. We started finding some on the used market, bringing them in. And this is all before I had this relationship with Zimmer. I didn't know what competitors Zimmer had. I didn't know. I knew it was the Cryo 5, and our customers loved it. So I'd go out and try and find that device.
That you had quite a large sampling field there, getting your start there with all of the lasers and all of the cooling systems, and some without cooling systems. Is it a major difference for, I guess, safety and the comfort of the clients when you are versus aren't using any cooling at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Laser hair removal can be uncomfortable. A lot of people describe it as
Yeah,
a pinprick or maybe a rubber band snap. Um,
right.
and depending on the area, it hurts maybe more than other areas. And so the Zimmer or the cooling tips or the Cryogen is meant to provide a little bit more comfort, a little bit to take the discomfort out of the treatment.
A
And
little bit of anesthesia from the cold, the extreme cold exposure.
yeah, maybe some nerve confusion,
Yes,
maybe a little numbness,
yes,
and so yeah, I mean, and they all provide. I do think the cryogen maybe goes a little bit deeper into the skin, possibly, but for the depth that hair removal treats, I think the
yeah.
Zimmer is a great option.
You mentioned that you started out with the Cryo 5 devices that were available in these practitioners' offices. And I just want to mention to the audience, Cryo 5 started it all for Zimmer MedizinSystems, initially in Germany, and now there's a large market in the United States for many, many years, 25 years or so, I believe. And Cryo 5 really started it all. It started off the whole line, and it's no longer manufactured, but it's a lot of Cryo 5s are still operational. They're out in the field that are 20 plus years old, still working strong every day. So now there's the Cryo Mini, there's the Cryo 6, and the latest model is the Cryo 7. Just for the audience to fill you in on the current status, Cryo 5 is a workhorse from what I know.
Well,
A lot of
it is, and the Cryo 5 is what started off for us. We fell in love with the Cryo 5, and when the Cryo 6 was introduced, somewhere in there I became familiar, and I wanted to build a relationship with Zimmer. For a long time, we would buy parts, we'd buy hoses from Zimmer, but I didn't have this formal relationship, and so somewhere along the way, I created a relationship with Jeff Lyons at Zimmer. And it's been
Mhm.
a wonderful, wonderful gift to Simplicity Laser to have that relationship. And at some point, we decided that we would move on to the Cryo 6,
Mhm.
and we have loved that device. It has been
Yeah,
such a phenomenal device.
yeah.
We knew we loved the Cryo 5, and then the Cryo 6 has been even better. So.
Excellent. So, by the way, Jeff Lyons, again, for those, for the audience here listening, Jeff Lyons is the director of the cryo business unit at Zimmer MedizinSystems USA. So you started with Jeff, and what kind of partner has he been?
Jeff's been great. He has been so responsive. He's
Yeah.
he's he's listened to my concerns. He's listened to my suggestions. We have met in person several times. I had to actually go to a wedding out in California. I'm in Utah. I had to go to California for a wedding, and I had personal time. I went out there, but I made it. I wanted to meet Jeff in person, and so I stopped
Yeah.
by the California office. He flew out because he knew I was going to be in California, and we actually spent some time meeting up and getting to know each other in person. Jeff is a great person, and someone I really trust in this industry.
Wow, that says a lot. So in those early days, so you were founded in 2009, and you got your start using other people's devices, and then you moved on to from Cryo 5 to Cryo 6. And what was your initial fleet that you started with when you actually started purchasing new devices from Zimmer MedizinSystems?
Was my original what?
Your fleet, how many devices did you start with once you started purchasing your own for your locations?
Got it. Yeah, good question. So when we started, we maybe had 10 or 12 Cryo 5s, and they came in whatever condition we got them in, because we were using the doctor's devices,
Right.
and they were most of the time not under warranty. We were using some we bought off the used market, and again, in any type of condition. And so we started out with a low number.
Yeah.
And then when we started buying the Cryo 6s, they elevated our game, because if a Cryo 5 ever went down before, we'd have to get it repaired. And in those
Mm,
days, you repaired it on your own. We had service techs in each market that would come out and service those, just AC repair people, and that was great. But also, if there was ever downtime, we'd either have to switch over to Cryogen or shut down our laser hair removal program altogether.
mm,
And it just
yeah.
very, very challenging.
Yeah.
And so as we made the decision then to get the Cryo 6s, we love that device, and so we bought a Cryo 6 for each laser that we operate. Currently, we
Okay.
operate 50 lasers. Um,
Currently.
Currently, we offer 50. So I'm guess I'm jumping a little bit ahead of the question you asked, but we went from 10 or 12. Now we have 50 lasers in our 20 locations, and then we also have a backup. We love the Cryo 6 so much that we bought a backup for each location, and that way
Oh,
if
wow.
and that way
So
if
you've got 100 plus. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, we have about, I counted right before we got on this call, we have 73 Cryo 6s in our fleet.
Okay. And I do understand that you also have some of the newer Cryo 7s. Is that correct?
That is true, yes.
About how many of those do you have so far? There are very few in the market. They're pretty new, but how many do you personally have?
Yeah, we have 4.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
and they're a great device. We got those. They've been in operation for us a little over a year now. We're very happy with those devices. We're getting great feedback from our techs that operate it and from our clients as well. We're very, very pleased with that. It is a new one for us, and so I'm one, with a device that's new to the market for any type of equipment that we acquire. I like to test it before I go full bore with it. And so we did get 4 a year ago, and we have had virtually no problems with those Cryo 7s. They've been a fantastic device.
Yeah, they really are. They're very easy to. They're intuitive. I think the touchscreen is very intuitive to navigate around. You said that you initially started with the cryogen nitrogen-based canisters that were attached to the lasers, some of the lasers that you were using, and now and you also Zimmer MedizinSystems electric cryotherapy hoses are attached to your lasers as well. So at some point you made the decision to, I believe it was around 2017, you said you made the decision to go all electric cryotherapy and ditch the cryogen nitrogen based solutions. So I would like to explore a couple of things in that vein, the business decisions, the business considerations that led you to just say, okay, we're done with cryogen, we're going all electric now. Can you talk to some of those business factors?
Yeah, yeah, good question. That's a loaded question, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of things that went into it. I think for a company that wants our clients to have great results, we listen to what our clients say and the experience they have. So we did a lot of surveys to understand the results clients were getting, and what they preferred, how they like their treatment, what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, how can we improve. And as we did these surveys to find out what our clients like and what they enjoy about coming to a Simplicity Laser facility, it became pretty clear that our clients love being treated with the continuous stream of cold air versus the spray.
Right.
And so that is something we looked at, obviously. And then another big thing was just the cost. The cost of the cryogen is very, very expensive. And we have a model that is it's a high volume model. So we'll treat anywhere from 30 to 60 clients per day in our locations. And that cost can spike. We're going through several boxes of cryogen a week, and the cost of the Zimmer to operate is just so much less. By the time you figure in what you're spending for cryogen,
What were you spending? Do you have any kind of estimate of what you were spending per day, week, year, whatever you may be able to remember on cryogen canisters?
yeah, it's been a while, but I'd say like $1,000 a location, and this is back in 6-7 years ago in 2017. So this is I'm sure the cryogen might even be more expensive today.
Sure, sure. And that's 1,000 per location per year?
1,000 per location per month.
Per month.
Per month.
Okay, so now that I know roughly what the the different models of Zimmer MedizinSystems cryo units cost, and you're definitely getting an ROI there. It's definitely a savings. About how much can you estimate that you've saved since converting, or do you? And also, part B, do your locations use any solar power to maybe offset some of any potential costs of running electric devices?
Yeah, good question. First question, first part of your question,
Yeah,
it's really hard to estimate. I haven't really thought about it really, but
yeah.
I mean, hundreds of thousands over 6 years. I mean, I don't even think that's a low estimate. We've saved hundreds of thousands of dollars on not buying cryogen and by buying
That
the Zimmer.
Can you repeat that? You broke up a little.
Yeah, we've saved, and this is not I'm not underestimating this at all. We probably saved hundreds of thousands of dollars by the business decision to use the cryo Zimmer cryo.
That's remarkable. That's a huge number for a business, for a business decision or a procedural, operational decision to be able to save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you're estimating that's over since you made the decision in 2017, several
Yep.
hundreds of thousands in
Yeah,
savings. That's
absolutely.
incredible. That's really
Now,
incredible.
your second question, we lease spaces from landlords. And so I don't know, there are some spaces that have solar panels. It's not something that goes into a business decision for us because we don't own the spaces or things like that. However, it's the cost to run them. It's a 110 outlet that it's plugged into. And so it's not high power, it's very low power.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the cost of it is too much. The lasers can get expensive to run. They plug into a 220 and the cost can go up from there. But the Zimmer Cryo 6, I think it's a low energy use type of equipment.
Okay, great to hear. So going back a little bit to what led you to make the decision, I mean, the dollars and cents, it speaks for itself, the savings that you've been able to amass over time by making that decision. You said that initially you talked to your customers, did some surveys, asked what they prefer, what they like best, and you also talked about that the customers liked the continuous cold air blowing during these very hot laser hair removal procedures. So I wanted to see if you could talk a little bit about the nitrogen-based cryotherapy is basically laser pulse, cryogen spray, pulse spray, but you cannot do any skin cooling before or after, or even take a break in the middle and just just treat the area with cold air to cool down a bit before proceeding, which is absolutely opposite from the Zimmer MedizinSystems method of cooling. Can you talk about that a little, the difference between those two methods?
Yeah, and this one I'll speak from a maybe a customer perspective. I've been a customer. I get treated, and I've been treated with cryogen, and I've been treated with a device using the Zimmer cryo, and it's a much more comfortable treatment. When you get treated with cryogen, what you just described is accurate. The
Yeah.
the 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 laser pulses. When the laser pulses is when it shoots a spray of cryogen at the same time, and so you don't get the ability to cool down the area before
Mm-hmm.
or after. It's as it
Right.
sprays,
Right.
which it does provide. It honestly does provide some comfort level of
Yeah.
from the laser pulse. But the benefit of the Cryo 6, and this is something I love as a customer, and this is something our customers love, is we've surveyed and asked them what they like. If they need to take a break for a minute,
Yeah.
our technicians can spray down that area. They can spray down, or excuse me, just hold that hose over where they're going to be treated, cool it down,
Yeah.
for the treatment, after the treatment, and it is a much more comfortable treatment with the
Mm-hmm.
Zimmer cryo.
Yeah, and I think it adds a degree of safety as well, right? Cooling the skin and being able to take that break, as needed by the customer. If the customer indicate or the patient indicates it's too hot, I've got to stop, and then continuous cooling over the area before continuing with the procedure and the laser. I mean, that adds a degree of safety, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it just, you know, I've had my chest done, and at
Yeah.
some points I just have to, hey, stop. I got to stop before I
Yeah.
kick someone,
Yeah.
and the technician can continue to blow on it, and then I'm ready to go. When I say, hey, let's go again, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm ready for that treatment. And so I think it just gives the customer the comfort to know, hey, I'm in control here. I'm
Yeah.
ready to go. I can be
Yeah.
treated. I can get this treatment now. I'm ready to go. And so the cold air really provides that comfort level that clients are looking for.
Yeah, it provides a literal physical comfort and a psychological comfort, like you just said, that they're in control, that they can stop if needed and continue to cool the area, as well as the safety. Simplicity Laser solely does laser hair removal procedures, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, we're a laser hair removal company.
Right, right. And have you considered perhaps the ability that you have now to expand your menu of services by offering natural cryo, electric cryo based services like, cryofacials or, other procedures that where the cryo machine can work in concert with other devices or as a standalone? Have you considered opening up your menu of services?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of services out there that our customers would love to take advantage of, and we are in position to be able to add that to our service offering, many of those services. And so we have our checklist, right, of services, and we have our line items that we go through, of things that we need to be prepared for. And
Right.
that topic of conversation always comes up. So what is the method of cooling? And having devices ready to go, and having an extra one, and sometimes two at each location, gives us the comfort to know that, hey, we can add a service. We already have a device, a Zimmer Cryo 6 ready to go.
And going back for just a minute to the topic of consumables, the cryogen canisters, do you consider those a consumable?
Absolutely. And in fact, it might be the most expensive consumable that we were going through. It is very costly. And at the end of that treatment, you take that canister and there's no value to it. You throw it in the garbage, and it's painful to do it, but there's no value in those cans anymore. I will say one of the benefits of the Cryo 6 is at the end of its useful life, there's value in that. That's an asset that we have. Like I say, we keep a lot of those as backup Cryo 6s.
Right.
And you're probably going to get to this, but I'm going to maybe jump ahead here. I hope I'm not going
Sure.
to mess up your format too badly, but the
Absolutely. Now go right ahead.
the Cryo 6 is such a robust machine. It like rarely breaks down. I've tracked this. It comes with a great warranty program, which is very exciting and valuable, but they rarely go down. I in since 2017, since we switched over, I could almost count on one hand the times that unit has gone down. And the ability to get that machine replaced is such a rapid response. Zimmer is so good at getting that device back to their corporate office and a new one in my hands. That is the only reason I have a backup at each location. I have a backup at each location in case my main one goes down. And that way I don't have to reschedule clients, because that is
Yeah.
valuable not to reschedule. But I've only had to take advantage of that, like I say, maybe 5 or 6 times since 2017.
That's really,
It's amazing, because we'll open most of our locations at 7 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. So we'll run these devices 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And for as much as we use those machines and as much as they're utilized, we have very, very little downtime. As much as we use them, we maintain them, we take good care of them, and they just don't go down. It's a workhorse, and
yeah.
we consider it one of the secrets to our success.
That's, say that one more time.
We consider the Zimmer Cryo 6 as one of the secrets to our success.
That is, I love hearing that. Yeah, and for as many devices as you have, and for as many years as you've been using them from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., it is quite remarkable to be able to say only I can count on one hand the amount of times when we've, had to service or had downtime from a device.
It is, that speaks to how well they're built. This speaks to how Zimmer is as a company. They're not selling a device that's going to break down. They stand behind it. And I appreciate the warranty, because it has proved valuable in those cases where it's gone down. I just haven't had to use it all that much. It's a value. It's just a workhorse.
That's wonderful. So, what advice or insight can you give other companies or practices who might be considering either choosing between cryogen and electric cryo systems, or even integrating the cryotherapy with their services for the first time? Do you have any words of wisdom?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just makes sense all the way around. I know maybe up front there might be a concern of like, oh, it is a bigger expense to buy a big box versus a little box of cryogen.
Yeah,
Um,
initially.
but and initially, but you're going to spend way more. You're going to spend way more and have clients that aren't getting the treatment that they want by not going with the Cryo 6 or the Cryo 7, whatever. But you're
Yeah,
getting a Zimmer device.
right.
We're very happy with it.
Yeah, if you're thinking long term about your business, and I hope that most businesses are looking at the bigger picture, yeah, it's definitely a huge savings and a bigger sticker price up front probably, but like you said, could potentially save several hundreds of thousands of dollars over time.
Yeah,
Just as
depending on the size of the fleet, the size of our fleet. Yeah, that's it adds up fast, right? I mean, a smaller company, you're not going to save hundreds of thousands over 6 years, but you will save. Absolutely, you'll
Mhm.
save. You will save money over time.
And you also mentioned just just to reiterate the peace of mind that you're giving your customers or your patients. It's just a better treatment with better outcomes and better patient satisfaction, which actually leads me to one of my questions about sort of the adoption of these devices, how has it impacted your client perception or brand reputation in terms of trust, confidence, overall reputation, repeat business, returners?
Yeah, I think we've had clients that have switched over to us from other companies because we have the Zimmer.
Yeah. Oh,
And
wow.
the we've had clients that have come to us because they've had adverse reactions on their skin caused
Mm.
by the cryogen. It's a
Oh,
cold, you know, it's I don't know the science behind it, but it's a cold shot of air essentially. And when you contrast that with the heat that the laser's causing, you can cause hypothermia reactions on the skin.
mm.
And it's not
Burns.
burns, right? Right, cryogen burns. It's not. There's safer ways to cool down the skin. This is a
Yeah.
safer way to cool down the skin.
Yeah. The electric cryotherapy is all natural. You're basically taking regular room air, chilling it to sub-zero temperatures, and yeah, it's just a very natural method of giving that skin cooling.
That's correct.
You said that a lot of customers may have switched over to your company, Simplicity Laser, because they prefer the, I mean, among other reasons. I'm sure that there are many other reasons that you have a successful full business, but one of them being that they prefer the Zimmer MedizinSystems electric cryotherapy devices as opposed to some other companies where they might get the nitrogen-based treatment, skin cooling treatment. So, do you feel that they've also been referring their friends and that has brought in additional client base?
Well, it's hard to quantify that. I don't know for sure, right? But if I'm a customer, if I'm my customer, I'm thinking, how was my overall experience at Simplicity Laser? Well, I walk into a beautiful facility. I'm greeted by a wonderful front desk person. I look around, I see it's professional. We sell great products. I walk into a treatment room. It's very organized. It's very clean. I'm being treated with the best laser on the market. And then I look over and I see a Zimmer blowing cold air. And it's all part of the overall experience that a customer experience has at a Simplicity Laser facility. They walk in and they're very happy from A to Z. Everything is top notch. And there is no doubt that a Zimmer plays into the part of the overall experience that our customers have. And so, yeah, I would say when customers walk out, they have a wow factor. They've had a wow
Yeah.
factor in the clinic, and they refer their clients, or excuse me, they refer their friends. And why wouldn't they? They've had a great experience, and that Zimmer plays a part of it, no doubt.
Yeah, and they walk in and also seeing the Zimmer MedizinSystems cryotherapy device probably plays to perception. Like they see this high-end, state-of-the-art technology, and that also probably plays into that positive feeling, like that they've stepped into the right location, the right company.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in those early days, the cryogen would gum up. It would that I don't again I don't know the science, but it would gum up, and we'd have to change out canisters and stuff like that. It would slow down
Mhm.
our treatments. There's
Yeah.
nothing like that with the cryogen. Like you say, it's all natural. It's blowing cold air, and so there's no gum up. We've never had gum up. We've never had to
With the
stop.
cryo, you're talking about there's no gum up. That's never happened with the Zimmer devices. Is that
Never.
what you mean?
Right. There's no gum up. There's no reason to stop a treatment because of the Zimmer. It just blows cold air. That's what it does. And there's no
Yeah.
gumming up like a cryogen gas might gum
Yeah.
up. And I don't know
Right.
if I'm using the right terms there, but I do remember that there was gum up. There was a buildup of the cryogen. There was, and again, it's been a while, right? But um, I don't have that experience anymore. In fact, it's funny for me to even think back on that because I don't even we don't experience that anymore.
So have you gotten any feedback from your professional staff about things like ease of use, the cleanliness, temperature consistency? That's a big one. For example, with these cryo devices, the electric devices.
Yeah, I mean it's a very simple device to clean. There's a flat top and it's very clean. It's beautifully designed, and so very easy to wipe off. We have a check off every day, a checklist that we do to clean our lasers and our Zimmer devices at the end of the day. takes just a minute. They empty the water, they wipe it down, and we vacuum the filter, and it just keeps running. There's really not a whole lot of maintenance with it.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Okay, so let's get into the future and innovations here before we conclude. Um, are there any innovations that you're aware of from Zimmer MedizinSystems looking into the future that you're excited about?
You know, I'm not aware of much. I will say though that not long ago, maybe it was this calendar year, I believe, Zimmer people from the corporate office, engineers that helped design the product, reached out to me to find out my feedback on the device. They know that I'm a growing company, and you know we have a lot of locations, but I know there's probably companies out there that have more units than we do. But I appreciated that they wanted my feedback. They
For
wanted my
sure, yeah.
feedback on how it was designed, where the hose would go, how the interface would look. And so, although I'm not aware of specific adjustments coming in the future, I know there probably are, and I appreciate that Zimmer felt like they could reach out to me and they want my opinion on the matter.
Yeah. Your input, that's excellent. So, looking forward, do you have it sounds like you have no plans on reevaluating your cryotherapy solutions for all of your locations.
No, matter of fact, I'm just looking at how we can get more. You know, we want to expand, and as I look at my plan, it's we typically have 2 lasers, sometimes 3 in all of our locations. So I'll have a cryo 6 at each one of those locations, or a cryo 7 as we add those, and then I'll always have a backup. And so I just looking at how I can get more and keep that relationship strong with Zimmer, and so we can always have them.
Well, I am sure that Jeff Lyons will be happy to accommodate you if you're looking for more devices. So, just concluding here, looking at the bigger picture, in terms of your broader, company objectives, can you discuss how, incorporating Zimmer MedizinSystems cryotherapy systems has aligned with Simplicity Laser's mission and values?
Well, great question. We have worked so hard to create a brand that has a great reputation in the marketplace of being able to get our customers the result they want, and to be done by a wonderful trained staff that knows what they're doing and what they're talking about, in a beautiful facility with great products, that's clean, that's professional, and every one of our employees, we hold to a high standard. We also hold a high standard for all of our vendors. We want the equipment that goes into our clinics to be the best of the best. It's why we spend so much money on our treatment chairs and our lasers and the type of cooling equipment that goes in our facilities, and on and on and on. And it's the same for Zimmer. We expect Zimmer to be a great brand, and we know that it is, and that's why we've selected Zimmer to work with. They are such a great brand. They represent themselves well in the marketplace. They have great equipment, and I just love working with them. Those instances where our cryo 6s have gone down and we've had to replace them under the warranty, it's never a question. Zimmer just takes care of it. They're responsive. They're a brand of integrity. They're a brand that they look out for their customers, and I align myself with companies like that I can trust, that have a great reputation, and Zimmer's one of those companies. And so all the way from top to bottom, you know, I talked about Jeff Lyons, the VP of the company, but all the way down, everyone in between, everyone has been great to work with. They make it very easy to get my service calls in. I go online and do that. They call me shortly thereafter, and it's a brand that I can stand behind. I love working with Zimmer.
Oh, that's very, very nice to hear. Thank you so much for all of that insight and, for providing the years of experience that you've had both with the devices and working with the companies in Medicine System. It's very impactful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Is there anything else that you feel I've I, I haven't asked? Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
Uh, yeah, you have been thorough, Regina. I mean, I don't know what else I could even talk about. I
I
think,
do try. I just tried to stump you at the end there by asking that. I was quite thorough. I think we covered everything, and your answers also were very
yeah,
thorough.
I appreciate that. I'm a very happy customer. I, I really, um, appreciate what Zimmer has done for our brand. I love what they've done for our customer, and I plan to be a happy customer of Zimmer for a long time.
Well, I think you said it all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us, Mr. Jeffs. We really appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much, Regina.
Thank you, Leeon Jeffs, Vice President of Simplicity Laser. The real world implications of adopting Zimmer MedizinSystems cryotherapy devices in a successful and expansive operation like Simplicity Laser underscores the value that this technology offers, not just for patient outcomes, but for the aesthetic industry as a whole. To our audience, thank you for joining us for this enlightening conversation. We hope you found it as valuable as we did. Goodbye for now.